What's good in the afternoon other than your presence? No statement.
Okay, questions?
The president has already made several statements last night.
Joseph, then Henry. Oh, Henry, ikaw daw muna kasi MPC president.
Ano po ang atin?
Alam, Sek, yung pinanggit ng Pangulo kagabi na ipinagbabawal niya sa mga cabinet secretary ang pagtungo sa United States. Kayo po bilang Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and spokesperson, paano ninyo ito tinatanggap?
Tinanggap ng maluwalhati. Dapat lang naman, huwag pumunta ron. Kinakansila nila yung sa kasama nating senador. Kung baga sabi niya nga, boycott tayo.
Ano ba ito? Kasama pati mga personal trips ng mga secretaries? Family trips?
Oo, huwag na muna pumunta ron. We have to defer to the president's wishes.
That's including USEC, ASEC, Director.
Hindi, cabinet members lang naman sinabi niya.
Pero ang...
But I suppose that goes without saying.
All right, thank you.
Okay, may follow-up doon. Julie?
Sir, recently napabalitaan pong si Davao Mayor Sara Duterte ay nasa US. Do you think, I mean, andun na siya, so, kumbaga, magiging after the fact na, do you think this travel ban might also apply to members of President Duterte's family?
No, I
Kahit
don't think
na
so.
official yun?
That's an official study tour.
So,
Organized by, I think, the National Security something
Okay.
of the U.S.
So,
government.
hindi
Para sa mga
excluded
terrorism
yun.
yun, no?
Opo. Hindi kasama yung mga ganong cases, sir. Halimbawa, pag bawa.
Hindi, meron nga siyang in-exempt, sabi niya, Foreign Affairs Department, hindi kasama.
Hindi, how about may the President's family po?
Siguro the members of the family will do likewise
Okay.
in deference to the father.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Questions, MPC? Joseph?
Sir, kahapon po sabi ni Presidente no, that he has terminated. And yung procedure na you mentioned before that we are undergoing is just, pro forma, parang something
They
that we
will
have to go
have
through.
to, we will have to write them formally.
Correct.
Then
But
the effectivity is 180 days after.
But the decision has been made. We are
Yeah, hindi ba sabi niya?
correct.
Final na.
All right. What is the effect now of the termination of the VFA with the other two treaties that we have? I mean, the MDT, the Mutual Defense, and then another one, EDCA.
Wala.
Why, sir?
Bakit magkakaroon ng epekto? Tanungin naman kita, ano naman kinalaman nun? It refers to privileges of the military personnel with respect to acquisition of jurisdiction in relation to the commission of crimes, as well as the movement of their aircrafts and vessels.
So,
The other
confined-
agreements will remain. But I understand the Senate will also be reviewing all the treaties.
So, ang action po ng ating palasyo with regard to the Senate investigation to expand the review to include the MDT, you'll just allow them, or you're in favor of it, or?
Well, this is their prerogative. So, as a practice, the executive department does not intrude nor interfere with the co-equal branch.
So, sir, we don't have any interest in maybe abrogating also the MDT?
Nasa ano yan eh, kung anong findings nila, they can recommend.
Pero, sir, tayo, si Presidente, MDT, does he still want it?
Which one?
The MDT, sir, Mutual Defense Treaty.
Well, I'll have to ask him. Basta yung, as he said, and as I said earlier before that, the decision of the president to terminate the BFA is a studied decision. It is a tactical and strategical decision stated by him.
When you say tactical and strategic, what do you mean by that, sir?
Well, in other words, he has something in his mind which he has not shared with us, which is, of course, a privilege of the chief architect of the foreign policy of this country.
Just a little bit more on the VFA. Sir, so terminated na siya. We're just undergoing the process.
Hindi pa, kasi
Oh.
180 days ang effectivity nun, so hindi pa terminated.
Okay, but okay, gets.
We don't even know if the Secretary of Foreign Affairs has already made the letter. Kasi siyang gagawa nun.
All right. Clarification. The president said we're terminating, we're undergoing the process, but to formally say that the VFA has been abrogated is when we undergone the
That's
process.
what he explained to you last night. There is a process. We have to follow the protocol.
All right, but as far as the government is concerned, we're just waiting for the formalities.
Yes.
But the VFA is done, correct?
Yeah,
All right.
we will
Consequence.
not.
Consequence. When we terminate, when we reach the point that the VFA is formally terminated after the procedure, what's going to happen? Say, for example, Kay Pemberton, who's being held under custody, pero US ang may hawak sa kanya because of the VFA. What should happen to him?
He remains in custody of the U.S.?
Nasa Camp Aguinaldo, sir, pero yung may hawak sa kanya is Philippines and US. Because we have the VFA. What's going to happen? What should happen?
He will remain in custody with us.
You mean local court?
Yes, of course. Because we acquired jurisdiction over him. And therefore, the jurisdiction remains. You must remember that the BFA states that we cannot acquire jurisdiction unless of particular importance, and we already did that. So hence, logic will tell us that determination of the BFA will not affect the acquisition of jurisdiction by the Philippine courts.
Question on custody. Saan po siya dapat
Ay,
ikulong?
dito pa rin.
I mean, well, Camp Aguinaldo is here, but Camp Aguinaldo or local court, local jail?
Ay, doon pa rin siya sa dati. Eh, doon siya nilagay ng court eh.
Only because we have the VFA.
Not necessarily.
Uh,
The court has decided.
So if
But he remains under the jurisdiction of the court. So, if the court says, dito ka, eh, lilipat ka.
alright, because I'm not very sure if the court order yung paglagay niya dun sa Camp Aguinaldo, ha? So, but if nakalagay nga sa court decision is
Na?
doon sa sa Camp Aguinaldo without mentioning the VFA, you're fine with Pemberton staying in Camp Aguinaldo even without the VFA.
Eh, kung mas safe siya ron eh. Kaya lang siguro nilagay siya doon because of his safety.
Right, yun muna, sir.
Okay, Chona and then Ina. Sir, yung boycott America, limited lang yun, sir, sa travel?
Meaning,
How about, sir, yung sa trade relations, yung importation, export, wala bang ganong boycott din?
eh, wala naman, hindi naman sinabi ni Presidente, yung pagpunta lang doon.
Okay, Ina.
Sir, nabanggit nyo lang kanina. Can you clarify lang? So, all cabinet secretaries except for the Secretary of Foreign Affairs?
Foreign
Did you say
Affairs, di
that?
ba? Sabi niya, Foreign Affairs. Parang in-exempt niya eh.
Okay. Well, Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin is in Washington now. Is wondering, I'm unclear on the agenda. Is the palace aware of why he's there? Did the president perhaps send him there to...
No, he
discuss anything?
went there because of several meetings previously scheduled.
Walang directive from the president na baka meron din pong inutos
Wala.
sa kanya si Presidente.
Kausap ko si Secretary Locsin.
Okay. Sir, yesterday the president also mentioned that he's slowly toning down on our relations with the US. Ano ba gusto niya talaga mangyari? Ano yung end goal niya?
Hindi ko alam. We'll have to ask him. He will have to elaborate on that himself.
Anong difference nun, sir, sa initial pronouncements niya in the earlier part of his term when he basically said that he wants to lessen the country's dependency on traditional allies like the US?
I really don't know. But It's about time that we, as a country, relies on our own resources. We cannot be relying on others. We have to strengthen our capability in defending ourselves from foreign intrusions. By relying mainly on one particular country, you lessen your capability from the moment that alliance with that country is terminated. Bigla kang may iwan, wala kang gagawa sa sarili mo. So siguro mas gusto ni Presidente tingnan natin yung ating kakayahan. Palakasin natin ang kakayahan natin.
So again, sir, yung agenda lang niya dito sa specific pronouncement niya of, again, toning down yung relations with the US. You don't know why? Where he sees bilateral relations heading from this point?
Yeah, as I said, he has to make elaboration of that himself.
Okay, last lang. Sir, can you clarify what the President said also? Saan na ba yun? Yung limiting interaction with the US, ano yung scope nun? Although clearly yung travel, what else could that cover? Yung boycott na gusto niyang mangyari?
I will ask him.
Thank you, sir.
Francis, and then Joseph and Chinky.
Sir, follow-up lang dun sa tanong ni Ina. Yung sinasabing boycott, tapos yung ilimit nga yung relations with the US. Kasama rin po ba rito yung eventually pag-recall ng Philippine ambassador to the US, sir?
Wala naman siya sinabi.
Just to stress a point lang na ayaw nga-
In-accept niya nga yung foreign affairs. Ibig sabihin, sige pa rin yung relasyon natin sa kanila. Siguro sa akin tingin, my personal insight of that decision sa boycott is more of a protest sa ginagawa nila sa mga kababayan natin.
Okay. Joseph, and then Joseph.
We don't need to scale down our diplomatic presence in the US because of this.
Mukhang wala naman siya sinabi. In-accept niya nga ang travel ng Department of Foreign Affairs. Ituloy pa rin lahat ng mga activities nila.
Maybe in the future?
Hindi natin alam.
Okay.
Okay, Jinky, then Sam.
Hi, sir. Sir, isa lang. What if, sir, mag-explain ng US?
Magano?
What if they explain their side on why they canceled the US visa of Senator De La Rosa? Anong mangyayari, sir? Matatapos silang boycott natin? Will the President end that particular protest?
Hindi naman yung hindi pagpapaliwanag yung nire-react ng Presidente, di ba? Nire-react ng Presidente yung ginawa nilang intrusion. Di ba, inisa-isa ko yung mga reasons bakit. That's why he said, hindi ko lang ina-announce, pero nung ginawa pa lang nila yung unang mali nila, nagre-react na ako. Nagpaplano na ako, pag ito ginawa nila, itong gagawin ko. That's exactly what he did.
Sir, one last. Ipapatawag niyo po ba, or does the palace has this plan to actually call the presence of the U.S. ambassador here?
Who?
The U.S. ambassador, sir.
Nag-uusap na sila ni ES eh. We already talk. I don't know what they talk about. I'll ask ES.
Okay, sir.
Okay, yun na yan. Oh, Ace. Yung microphone.
Secretary, just for the record, yung mga pronouncements ni President regarding the BFA, yung toning down, may kinalaman po ba ito sa decision ng President to seek stronger ties with China?
Not necessarily. His decision was mainly based on the actions of the U.S. government with respect to the U.S. Senate and the U.S. immigration.
So the President is not appeasing China or Russia?
No.
Walang ganon, Sec. Okay, salamat po.
Okay, other issue. Okay, sige. Nakalimutan ko ni maganda si Vance. Ang ganda. Paabot ng microphone kay Vance and then si Ina.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Kasi you have said banning the cabinet members going to the U.S. May reaction po si Senator Lacson na saying that it will affect our economy and security. Kasi especially we have Filipinos in the U.S. Any reaction on this?
He's entitled to his opinion, but I don't think so.
Sir?
He's entitled to his opinion, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay na, Vance? Sige.
Sek, yung protest lang, ay binanggit mo it's a protest sa ginagawa ng US
Tingin
sa mga,
ko lang, more on
sa mga kababayan
protest.
natin. Ano yung ginagawa sa mga kababayan natin?
Hindi yung ginawa, yung mga sinabi ni Presidenteng mga reasons why he's terminating the visiting force agreement, kasama na yung ginawa nila kay Senador Bato. Kasama lahat yun.
So yun ang primary reasons kung bakit
The
talaga.
primary reason is yung binanggit kong 4 na dahilan.
Which is?
One, demanding the release of the lawfully detained Senator De Lima, which is definitely a brazen interference with our judicial system, disrespecting our judicial process. Number 2, passing a Senate resolution condemning the war on drugs of the president. Number 3, introducing an amendment to the national budget of the U.S., barring entry of certain government officials who, according to them, had anything to do with quote and unquote wrongful detention, to which we disagree vehemently. And number 4, the cancellation of Senator Bato's U.S. visa.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Ina, last to ito sa US, then Ace.
In relation sa reason number 3, sir, I'm just checking, baka lang may update. Is your visa still valid, your US visa?
Wala akong, first, I'm not interested. So I don't even ask.
You haven't checked?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ace.
Secretary, if the move to terminate the VFA is not intended to appease China or Russia, what does strategic and geopolitical consideration mean?
As I said, I will ask him. He has to elaborate that himself.
Okay, salamat po.
Okay. Other issue na? O follow-up? Okay, ano muna? Sino ba si Julie, and then Tina and Prince. Other issue.
Sir, can we get the palace's take on reports na yung pinapropose na Sangley Point International Airport is seeming to be in favor of a state-owned Chinese contractor, the China Communications Construction Company. Yung mga other bidders kasi are complaining na rushed daw yung selection process and tilted in favor of China na parang operating under the assumption na it's gonna be a partnership between China and the Philippines.
You must remember that bidding process has certain conditions. So bidders will have to comply with all the conditions. So if the Chinese company has complied with all the requirements, unlike others, then necessarily the Chinese company will be the chosen one.
In the case of that project, the Sangley Point International Airport, the palace believes that everything was above board.
The presumption is it is above board, unless you give us proof that it is not, then we come in.
Is the palace open to, bawa, you're saying na if they give proof, then you might...
You must remember that this government has always been open to any complaint. In fact, we encourage people to complain so that we will know whatever anomalies there are.
Are we telling the other bidders who backed out of the project to complain to Malacanang and send
If they
letters?
have valid complaints, why not? They should.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Tina and then Prince.
Sir, there's a report that the U.S. federal agents raided the Philippine-based church, Kingdom of Jesus Christ Church in Los Angeles
Why now?
for alleged human trafficking. There is an ongoing human trafficking investigation that led to certain arrests of 2 church leaders. Sir, any statement on this in connection with the Philippines Tier 1 ranking in the human trafficking campaign?
Well, if the raid is legitimate, then we cannot complain on that.
Regardless, sir, if the church leader, known spiritual leader, is also a close ally of the president.
Even then, you must remember that if a crime is committed in any country, then the laws of that country will have to be followed. We have to respect them the way we ask them to respect ours.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Prince?
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, may result na ba yung review ng UP Ayala Techno Hub lease agreement, sir?
Wala pa kasi nag-request pa lang ako ng copy. Parang pinadala pa lang nila kahapon.
Kasi sir, last night, the President mentioned about it in passing. He said
Binanggit ba siya? Parang wala ako nakita
yes,
sa
he
interview
said
niya. Ano sabi niya?
it's not merely in the water sector, it's in the LRT and some lands that were leased to them. Would you believe it? At 70 pesos per hectare yung lupa dyan sa UP. Talagang if you compute all the corruptions done by those, yung mga customs, it pales in comparison sa nakaw dito.
Oh, so the question is,
Does
di ba
the President
we're
think...
studying it. Okay. We will study it. Kadarating lang no contract.
But sir, does the President think that the agreement was disadvantageous to the government?
No, he does not think that. Yun ang kwento sa amin. Yun ang, di ba? That's what I told you. Somebody sent an article, I read it, and I shared it with you. That is why we got interested. We want to know whether those allegations are true or not.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, questions? Chona, and then Ina.
Sir, follow up. You said kadarating lang ng contract.
Kaya kahapon, pinadala ni yung vice president nila.
UP, sir.
Yes.
And how much?
We requested it, copy.
And how much daw, sir, yung lease ng Ayala?
Hindi ko lang. I haven't even seen it. Sinabihan lang ako ng lieutenant.
Okay, Ina. Last question na ba tayo kay Ina?
Sir, I just want to get your thoughts on nababalita, especially on social media, about how some Chinese nationals are behaving in our country. Let me tell you, there's a Chinese national doing the #2 in a tourist spot in Manila. There's also a photo of 3 of them peeing along a highway ng sabay-sabay, and just recently, ang pinakabago po yata, one is hitting a delivery guy who was simply asking for her identification. What are your thoughts on that?
Our policy is very clear. The laws, immigration laws, are to be enforced, as well as all laws relative to the stay of any foreign national in this country.
But those specific actions, hindi ba bothered ang palace doon? Do you see the need to maybe
For this,
talk with
you see them on the highway? Ano namang problema
yung
doon?
ginagawa nila, sir, umiihi doon sa kalye,
Then they will be charged.
Yung isa nga, doing the #2 in a tourist spot in
sabi nga,
Manila.
nabasa ko rin yun. But lumalabas, hindi totoo.
And then nananakit po yung isa. Well, are there efforts to maybe find out if, if the tourists are perhaps given proper guidance on how they should be acting when they're here?
Those reports are always investigated by the proper authorities. Like the one defecating in, hindi naman pala totoo. So, iniimbestiga naman nila yun. But we will not allow any violation of any law by any citizen, whether foreign or local.
Okay, maglasto na tayo. Joseph and Julie.
Sir, sa VFA lang, I've been reading yung mga background materials on it. No? So apparently, he is really under detention. VFA, si Pemberton, he's really under detention sa Camp Aguinaldo because of the VFA. Again, just belaboring the question. Kung wala na yung VFA, where should he
Kahit
turn
naman
to?
walang BFA, kung walang BFA, then he would have been charged and tried in court.
Correct. Ang question ko, sir, is physical custody, as in jail.
Oh.
Right now, nasa Camp Aguinaldo siya because of the VFA.
He will remain in custody because he's been convicted by a Philippine court.
Where is the question, sir?
Ano na?
Where is the question?
That depends on the courts.
Court.
Court yun.
Okay, okay. So I have to go back to the court and ask it.
Palaging court.
Okay, okay.
Okay, last question. I mean, Julie and then Ace.
Sir, yung kay Mary Jane Veloso po, ano ba si court convicted yung dalawang kapitbahay niya of illegal recruitment? Now, Mary Jane is still in Indonesia undergoing trial for drug trafficking. Does the policy or the Philippines see any implication of yung decision ng Nueva Ecija Court on regarding her case dun sa Indonesia? Like, can the Philippines cite yung pagka-convict nung dalawang kapitbahay niya for illegal recruitment as a defense or a reason for her acquittal?
As a lawyer, there is no connection.
Okay.
She's being charged with a crime there, nothing to do with the conviction of the traffickers here.
Pero ano, as a lawyer din or as a palace official, how do you see yung pagka-convict ng dalawang
Eh,
kapitbahay?
okay yun kasi na-convict yung mga transgressors of law.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, mag-last question at, okay, last na two, Ace and Joseph.
Secretary, clarification lang sa statement si President about the NCOV. So magkakaroon ng NCOV, novel coron. Will there be repatriation now of Filipinos?
Di ba sabi niya, at this time, hindi muna. Kasi unang-una,
Hindi.
parang sinasabi niya, repatriation.
May sinabi siya na parang as long as there are measures
Oh
protecting.
yes. Hindi
So
ba
we
sabi
are
niya,
now-
pati sa aeroplano, kailangan. Kung basta ang concern ni Presidente, safety nila at ng mga nandito. Kasi darating sila eh.
So magkakaroon na po ng repatriation. Kasi ito yung quote niya. They are given the go signal. My thinking is that we will just have to go there and rescue them. I said, but all precautions must be in place so as not to allow another contamination there. So magkakaroon na po.
Eh, ang problema kung may restriction ng travel doon.
Okay.
Kung may restriction, then we have to formally request for their repatriation.
But we are now open to
Oh, eh, sabi ni Presidente.
what prompted the President to yung
Eh, kasi nga,
change of stance.
they were asking us to
Meron
bring
na-
them here.
Okay. So meron na bang moves yung agencies to start the process?
Hindi ko alam kung meron lang start. Kahapon, kagabi lang naman sinabi ni Presidente. I'll ask the Dole Secretary.
Okay. Thank you, Sec.
Okay, last, Joseph.
Sir, kahapon si Presidente, he said it's not inclined to ban travel from China or yung mga flights coming from China.
Kasi hindi naman yata nila binaban din yun. Parang yan ang sabi niya, di ba? Hindi
Ano
rin
po?
nila nire-restrict yung pagpunta doon eh.
Sir. And
Reciprocal.
correct. And yung pong kahapon, remember the question, yung sa Olonga po, and you said what was the legal basis if you prevent the docking of the ship. But sir, di ba sa Constitution, somebody pointed out na parang the right to travel can be impaired due to interests of national security, public safety, or public health, as may be provided by law. Can you interpret this in light of that decision that we have to make, if ever?
I don't think that, I think that has become moot and academic. According to SBMA Administrator Isma, she said that those cruise ships have already canceled all the trips from February to March. So talagang walang darating.
Yeah, but removing that aspect, but the decision that we have to make, if ever, do we need to ban flights?
Oh, if we need to ban them because of the safety of our countrymen, we can.
We can. But right now, we do not need that. We cannot yet.
Wala nga. Una-una, wala tayong baban. Hindi naman sila darating.
Sir, yung pong as may be provided by law, ano ba to? Dapat ba may executive order ni Presidente or Congress has to come
Pag sinabing as may be provided by law, the Congress, law.
And that is a requirement before
Yes.
we can effect this one. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no more questions? Okay, thank you, MPC. Thank you, Secretary Panelo.
Thank you.